La 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 la. They tried to slap that look right off my face, but I'm still grinning. And the money ain't run out yet, so I do believe I'm winning. For all the mess I was, am and will be continuing. And the fun is only beginning. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties here. Dom, can you mess with your mic a little bit?
Sure. Hi.
There we go. Perfect. Hello and welcome to Don't Bury the Lead. We recap WWE Smackdown every Saturday night, but today is a little special. We're doing a matinee Sunday show here. My name's John Zindel. I'm joined by Dom Scarcella. Dom, can tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Sunday afternoon. It's like a blue light special at the diner. But, WWE wasn't going to go into WrestleMania with 4 for 4 baby faces at the top of the men's card, right? Right? On that note, John, don't bury the lead. What's our top story from WWE SmackDown for Friday, March 13th, 2026?
Dom, we don't ever bury the lead. And the lead is, as you alluded to, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in the main event have a contract signing. There's a little bit of back and forth talking about how they're friendly or whatever. And basically, Randy Orton attacks Cody Rhodes, leaves him a bloody mess, shoves over Jelly Roll, and, Randy Orton kind of turns heel, but then also people are like cheering for Randy Orton because people like violence. So, Dom, what did you think of this main event contract signing where Randy Orton brutally attacks Cody Rhodes?
Cody brings the over the top babyface promo, and then Randy, I guess, has just had enough of it. Signs the contract. Cody signs the contract first, cuts the big promo. Randy signs, hugs Cody, and then Randy attacks. Low blow, fight on the floor. Cody bleeding from his forehead. Randy finally stops when officials run down and beg him off. That's when the aforementioned Jelly Roll comes down to try and talk some sense into Randy Orton, his former tag team partner that we saw. And Randy eventually walks around the ring and backtracks up the ramp. That's when it seems like they're tending to Cody, who's laying on the announce table, but Randy had set up the bottom ring steps against the announce table so that the wedge part of the steps is facing upwards. And so Cody is lying backwards in the wedge. And you're like, what could that possibly be for? Oh, we're about to find out as Randy Orton apparently circled around everything through the crowd, jumps over the barricade with a steel chair, and boom, chair shot to Cody, who's lying in the ring steps there. So that's why they did it, so that Randy could basically hit the wedge of the ring steps and everybody go, oh my goodness, he hit Cody in the head.
Yeah.
So this is Randy Orton is the heel here. This I'll save the analysis before we get to just unpacking what happened in front of us. Did you like this? Were you surprised by it? What did it do for you?
This is every contract signing I've ever seen. This is like we're going into the Vince playbook right now, where it's just like, I feel like I'm in 2018 or 2017, and we're like, one of the guys attacks a guy during a contract signing, and that sets the storyline. So it's like pretty lazy, I'd have to say. I say very lazy to kind of just reuse this trope, but I guess they have to get there somehow. They have to make him heel somehow, and this is probably the easiest way. I mean, outside of Randy Orton showing up in a mask, which is like what they typically do now, is like there's just a masked man and then the man is unmasked. That's like the new trope. But yeah, they brought back the contract signing. Randy Orton does the attack. Interesting going into this, Randy Orton is getting way more cheers than Cody. So
Right.
the flip I really thought what was going to happen was Cody turning heel because he's been kind of hinting toward it for
Hmm.
months now. And he's also comes out. I saw the black suspenders and I was like, a little black in his gear. Like that's always like
Ah,
the heel move. But no, they just said, let's just take away all these weird storyline things we've been doing with Cody turning heel and just say Randy Orton shows up and says, I'm a heel now. Bang.
this is not the first time they've done this with Cody Rhodes where they tease him turning heel. The last time they teased him turning heel, it wound up being John Cena who
Yeah.
turned heel on Cody. So this has become a playbook for them. And I want to go way back into the past for this.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes has said that besides his father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, his favorite wrestler when he was a kid was Sting.
Mm.
This is the NWA WCW playbook for Sting minus one little detail. To keep Sting a baby face for almost the whole time, they had to keep making him be a little bit too trusting of people. And then everybody would just always turn on Sting. Now, the only wrinkle back then was that Sting rarely had the world championship belt. So he was always chasing. WWE has managed to do this same playbook with Cody Rhodes, but while he has the big belt.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting that they keep making the guy with the belt into the guy who's too trusting and who looks like he's chasing.
Right.
But it's an interesting thing to do for a guy that you want to stay babyface, but you also don't want him to get stale.
Yeah.
Like every time they think Cody's a little too stale, this is twice now where they've noticed Cody getting stale, and so they've set him up with another guy who's a big baby face, or so we think, and it's the other guy who turns on Cody. Makes you wonder if we're ever going to see the Cody turn, or if they're satisfied with running it like this, where they find somebody else to turn heel.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some. It's interesting from like a swerve perspective. If you're into swerves, where
Mhm.
you're like, you think it's going to be Cody that turns heel, and then they just turn Randy heel because they're just like,
Mhm.
we didn't even think you were going to be in the title picture. Why not?
Yeah.
Right? What good or bad does that do? Right? Really, at this point in his career, he's flipped face and heel so many times that it's like, okay, just turn heel again.
If you wanted a baby face and a heel for WrestleMania, you know what you could have done was just have Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre.
That's really
And let Randy take all the cheers that he's been getting and have Drew be the heel that he's been so good at playing and portraying the last several months. So
I
I'm wondering if it has something to do with Drew McIntyre and perhaps some acting opportunities that he has coming up, and they just don't want the belt on him long term.
yeah. The Drew thing's really weird. I thought he'd still be a part of the title picture, but it looks like it looks like a lot of the things that I projected in the last show. I was like, I think that Triple H is smart and this is a swerve, and like, no, this is the match. This is the main event. Like,
Yep.
we're live, folks.
Yep, it's Cody Randy Orton, and they're taking a chance on turning heel a nostalgic, long-standing guy who's now clearly a babyface. We'll see next Friday, SmackDown on March 20th, if Randy Orton's there and what kind of reception he gets.
Like, so he did the attack, and then he's like in the ring, and then there's guys in the front row, and they're like, RKO, RKO. Because the thing is with like when someone gets attacked, like the fans like violence. It doesn't make you a bad person in pro wrestling, right? They like
Right.
violence. So if they're like this guy's beating the hell out of Cody, then it's like, okay. Well, we were already
Or it's not that they just like the extra violence. It's just like they prefer physicality to two guys sitting at a table, pretending to sign a piece of paper in a fancy leather folder.
That's the other thing.
Like if you gave them a choice, like yeah, but, I don't know. I'd rather have somebody hit somebody with a table.
Right. I like that.
That's where I want to go.
I like the reasoning. And yeah, I think this is really it for the lead. I mean, that's the main event. Maybe we could talk about some of the matches on the show, and
Sure.
Randy Orton's a heel, Cody's the face. Maybe I'll end it on this. At least we have a heel in the face in the main event.
Yep.
I mean, we got. Is it the best storyline on the planet? No. Is it maybe the worst? It's down there, right? But
Yep.
is it? But is it at least okay? There's going to be boos for the heel and cheers to the face. Yeah, so good enough, right?
Yeah, like we had a heel and a face a week ago, and now we have a heel and a face, but it's a different face, and the heel is the guy who was the face.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you nailed it.
I don't have a whiteboard. I'm not John Madden, so I can't just draw this on. And it goes over here, and boom, and he did Sky, and this, it does the thing.
I feel like with Cena back in the last year, it was so interesting because he really leaned into the heel thing, and I think it was like all made sense, and he did a great job executing on it. And also, it's so shocking because he was his face his whole career. Randy's been back and forth so many times that like it's less shocking, so it's a little bit less interesting, but nonetheless,
we'll see how he can do with it, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen a heel Randy Orton. Not since we've been doing Don't Bury the Lead. Randy was injured, and then he came back to a big nostalgic babyface pop. So I haven't seen a Randy Orton heel. So let's see what it's going to be. I'm open to seeing what it is.
Yeah.
We've mentioned Drew McIntyre and what he's involved in. Is that the match you want to go to next?
Yes. Let's go ahead and move to the next match here. We've got, really the first match we're going to talk about. Jacob Fatu versus Trick Williams here.
Yes.
And Trick Williams picks up the win after Drew McIntyre interferes. Trick Williams picks up the win. I thought this was a good match. What did you think of this match, Dom?
I thought it was a pretty good match, too. Drew McIntyre set this up by in the opening segment of the night. He gets into it with Nick Aldis, just a verbal back and forth, and says that he quits. I quit, and then he storms off, which means that he'll be back later. and sure enough, he was back later. He interfered to cost Jacob Fatu the match. So I bet we're getting Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania.
It's what we kind of thought. I actually was hoping Drew would be included in the main event somehow, some way to make it a little bit more interesting. Actually, a lot more interesting. I'm still even thinking how much more interesting it would be. But I think this is what they're going to give us. It's Drew versus Jacob Fatu. The good news is Jacob Fatu is absolutely ready for a big match at WrestleMania based off the match I saw tonight.
Right? Was it WrestleMania where he beat LA Knight for the U.S. Championship?
Yes.
So he's been moving up and getting himself ready for that.
And I would have to say Jacob Fatu is pretty damn good.
Yep.
He's done a good job selling to the crowd. I know it's like kind of silly that I say this every time, but it's also ridiculous that people don't do it.
Right.
Like there's a lot of people on that roster that don't know. Hey, like if the crowd's a little sleepy, or even if the crowd's not sleepy, they're kind of wanting to have some direction in what we're supposed to do. You know, if they're not in the UK, who takes over the crowd, who takes over the show. If they're in like, Phoenix, like they were, and Phoenix needs some help on like what direction do we cheer in, like you need to sell a little bit to the crowd. He does a good job with that. Some of the high spots are really cool. He did a flip.
Sure. What were your favorites?
He did a flip off the top rope, and while he was standing, and hit kind of like a oh boy, I don't know what you'd even call that. Almost like a
Yeah, he was thrown into the corner, and as he got towards the corner, he leaped to the second turnbuckles and did like a flipping senton and got a 2 count out of it, right?
Yes, the senton. And I'll have to say, I'm not a big fan of high spots necessarily, but if you execute them the way Jacob Fatu does, and you look like that, and you're executing like that, oh yeah, keep that in your arsenal.
Yep.
Um,
It was quick. Like he didn't have to like steady himself on the turnbuckles, and Trick Williams didn't have to like wander around and get in position. Like they were both in position, and it went quick.
it made a little bit more sense because he just gets
Sure.
up and does it rather than yes, we're going 1, 2, 3,
Right?
Spanish fly. You know, so I think that was good. A couple other things. Looks like Fatu lost some lbs too. I think he looks like visibly trimmed down a little bit. I put GLP-1, Zepbound, Ozempic. One of those is included in his regiment now because he looks like I'd say he looks like he lost at least like 20 pounds. Your mic's off, Dom.
Hopefully, it doesn't
Head.
affect him if he wants to go to a power game. But yeah, he does look leaner. He looks like he's in good shape.
Mm-hmm. And I only have one more thing I wanted to mention. I saw little Nate was the ref. Yeah. And I was like, oh, Drew McIntyre's going to interfere in this match. It was just like, oh, little Nate is here. Who's going to interfere? Is it Drew McIntyre, or I don't know if it's the Miz that's been kind of butting heads with, or I don't know who's been butting heads with Trick Williams. I kind of forget that, but
yes, at some time during this match. At some time during this match, the most senior official in the company will be inexplicably distracted for far too long for no reason.
Yes.
Or he's going to take a crazy bump.
Yes. And I think he likes taking bumps. I almost feel like when they're like when they're in the back and they're talking about it, he's like, ref bump, I can do it, you know?
I mean, like they're going through the match. He goes, and when do I get hit? It's like, no, you don't get hit. And then we're going to, when do I get hit? So he comes off the top rope and I'm in the way and I get hit, right?
I love little Nate. He's great, but I just know when he's in there, something is more likely to go aloof than when he's not in there. Yes. If there's the girl ref, there's like less likely that she's not going to take a bump.
Right.
And, there's less likely she'll get distracted. Yeah, anything else from this match you wanted to call out?
Trick Williams looks good. He continues to look really good. And I continue to say, look at how they're presenting Trick Williams versus how they're presenting Obafemi.
Yeah.
And yet we keep getting rumors that like Obafemi is going to face Brock Lesnar. After squashing comedy people? And here's Trick Williams getting presented as a guy who's got all the tools.
Yeah.
So I wonder what Trick Williams is going to do for WrestleMania, because everything they've given him to do, you could say he's reasonably succeeded at it, including being an Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I think he's been a guy that came up from NXT that stood out for sure. Mm-hmm. I think on the men's side specifically, a lot of guys come out and they just get lost, right? And, there's some guys like Carmelo Hayes that he was really lost for a year or maybe 6 months to a year. And then he got his bearings, he got his footing and got better. And they positioned him in a better way too, because they position him as a face because he's a face, not a heel. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I think this was a good match, and Trick's pretty promising. Anything else from this one, Dom?
No, other than I do want to speculate a little bit. What does Trick Williams do for WrestleMania? Do they pull the trigger on him versus Sami Zayn, or is it too early for that? I don't know.
Yeah. I would hope that Sammy. I feel like Sammy's got to get some sort of a push later, like around SummerSlam, with the
Okay.
Saudi Arabia WrestleMania. If that still happens, that's a big
Right, right.
It's a massive question mark right now. Uh, I don't think anyone wants to hear about it, so I won't get too deep into the woods. But things aren't so great in the Middle East, as always. There's always something, right? But
Yeah, so something, yeah.
there might be some reason to speculate that maybe that Saudi show will be in Vegas for a third time, right?
Right, 3 in a row in Vegas. Sure. Let's just let it ride in Vegas.
We're letting it ride, baby. Las Vegas. I can already
You
see
know
it.
that's going to be their thing if they have to do 3 in a row. Because they keep trying to come up with gambling slogans for it. It's going to be "Let it ride, Vegas again."
Yeah. Um. So, anyways, I think as far as Sami Zayn, that would be cool because I think Sami needs to have a good match with an up and coming guy, and I wouldn't even know who would go over there. So I think that would be good
That
as
might
well.
be a good match then if you don't know who's going over ahead of time. They've
Yeah.
been continuing to tease Sami Zayn like having almost existential angst in the back every time he talks to somebody, especially Cody Rhodes, and then kind of gets angry, and then he apologizes for getting angry, and then the guy walks off, and Sammy destroys some equipment.
Sammy is an amazing layered character as a
Yes.
pro wrestler, isn't he?
Yep.
He's
Yep.
got so many. He's got like lots of different. He's got a lot of depth to him as a
Mm-hmm.
pro, and a lot of wrestlers just don't.
Yep.
Like CM Punk, he's a one trick pony. I'm a rebel. Blah. It's like I'm a rebel over and over and over and over and over. Whereas
And he's
like
not a rebel.
he's not a rebel, and he's like the top
Not
of
a
a
rebel.
company of this giant corporation. He's the champ of a giant corporation.
And he kissed a lot of butt to get back there.
Yeah, to say yes, he's actually quite the conformist at this
Right.
point because he had to just follow all of these rules. Yeah. CM Punk, the C stands for conformity.
Right.
Um. Anyways, we've got like a couple other matches here. I do have. Oh, I do want to go back to back with two different matches here.
Okay.
Do you mind? I'll call out the first one. We
All
got
right.
Mishin versus Jade Cargill,
Mm-hmm.
and Jade Cargill picks up the win. This was actually not a squash. I thought, oh man, is this going to be a squash? They actually had a
Yep.
match. What did you think of this matchup? Jade Cargill picks up the win. Mishin gets in some offense actually during the match, and they have an actual, like a decent match.
It's a good warm up for WrestleMania because you're not going to go into WrestleMania and squash Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
So you better start showing people that you can do this. And this match goes about 8.5 minutes. Jade avoids a senton on the floor. That's when the tide really turns for the final time. She hits a power bomb on the barricade, rolls Meechin into the ring, choke slam, then her sit out face plant that they call Jaded for the pinfall. So she brings out all the stops.
Right.
So Meechin does not look weak here at all. In addition to getting in some offense for a lot of the match, what Jade had to do to beat Meechin makes Meechin look really good.
Yeah. Even with Mishin starting the match and attacking her from like knowing that like this is her one shot, I thought like that was a cool little wrinkle from like a strategy perspective. Like you have to like sneak attack her right before, and Mishin gets some advantage, and she even hits like whatever that leg move she has, where she puts her leg on the jaw and kind of does like a jawbreaker with her leg. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, the eat defeat. She hit the move they keep calling sliced bread off the second turnbuckle. It looks like it's almost an inverted cutter. Then she hits the eat defeat, but Jade bumps and winds up sprawling under the bottom rope out of the ring. So that prevents Meechin from getting a cover attempt there.
Yeah.
And that leads to the final sequence because now with Jade on the floor, Meechin goes there and tries the high risk. But yeah, a lot of stuff.
I thought that Jade looked pretty good. And
Yeah.
I liked her in the match, and I think it's kind of like what we've been saying is like she can't just do squashes. We've seen her in dark shows have decent matches. Let her rip. Like, let her wrestle in matches, and if she's not good, then hey, you tried. She's been wrestling for 5, 6 years now. Like,
Mhm.
let her wrestle a match.
She's been to the dungeon with Natalia and gotten in her reps there.
Can't
as
think of a
well.
better person to train you either than Natalia, right? Um, Mishin was leading in the match because I saw her talking. So
Okay.
I could see like her talking to Jade. So maybe that's why the match was laid out so well, because I think Mishin is pretty good.
She's the veteran calling it in the ring.
She's well on her way. She's I think, has she won a Ricochet Memorial Award?
She may have. I mean, she's been a nominee at
She's at
least the
least been
last year or two.
at least nominated for Ricochet Memorial Award. Um,
So
anything?
does Rhea Ripley call this match at WrestleMania?
Absolutely.
There you go. Like we all know that Charlotte Flair called the match at WrestleMania 39 where Rhea Ripley went over.
Yes, for sure.
So now a few years later, it's Rhea's turn.
Hmm.
No matter who wins this one, Rhea's got to be the veteran and call this match. Jade's going to have some input, but when you get into a WrestleMania match, Rhea's got to be calling this one if anything needs to be called in the ring, right?
Yeah, as much as like I want to see Jade perform well, and I think she has to a certain extent, she's limited, and I think she's probably in the bottom half of the girls as far as how good she is. Rather the top half of the like you figure Liv Morgan, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair. I could keep naming them. Maybe even some people that are a little underrated, like Mishin or Chelsea Green, could probably put something together easier than Jade could.
Sure.
And then I wanted to do this. So I wanted to compare this match, Mishin versus Jade Cargill, Kiana James versus Tiffany Stratton. And Tiffany Stratton picks up the win. If you would have told me before SmackDown that Kiana James versus Tiffany Stratton would have been, if I had to pick one that'd be a botch fest, I would have probably picked Mishin versus Jade Cargill being a botch fest. But Kiana James versus Tiffany Stratton, where Tiffany picks up the win, I think was a little sloppy. What did you think about this one?
This one only goes about 7.5 minutes, so they weren't giving them a ton of time. I thought there were a lot of moving parts in this, including Julia being at ringside, there being some sort of stipulation that apparently Tiffany Stratton has to beat Kiana James in order to get a shot at the Women's U.S. Championship currently held by Julia. And then Chelsea Green comes out because they did something in the as Tiffany's introducing her match backstage where they do these walking things with the wrestlers in the back as they make their way to the entrance. Chelsea Green rolls into the picture behind her and yells at her. So Tiffany Stratton just turns, gets annoyed, and shoves Chelsea in the wheelchair way out of the picture. And then as Tiffany Stratton keeps doing her thing, you see Alba Fire running behind, trying to chase down the runaway wheelchair of Chelsea Green. So they make it a comedy spot, but then Chelsea and Alba come out during this match and are there at the entrance near the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody eventually winds up getting involved here. Tiffany does pick up the win here after she gets a distracted Kiana James into the fireman's carry, rolling senton, which goes into her top turnbuckle moonsault for the pinfall. What did you see in this match that you thought was maybe too sloppy?
There were some transitions there that they had when they were kind of doing. I didn't have the specifics written out, but there was some transitions there where they were in the ring doing something that, and they ended up just kind of dropping each other or not really picking each other up, or basically where it was a spot that relied on both of them heavily to kind of do some sort of turn or flip, but they just didn't quite understand how to do it. So they were kind of stopping. They were like stop-starting. It wasn't like this smooth transition. And it's also because they might have been trying to do stuff that was a little too complex and unnecessarily complex.
Yeah, a couple of gymnasts in the ring, maybe going for too much gymnastics and not enough pro wrestling.
Exactly. I thought that was the reasoning behind like why it didn't look so great, is that they both probably were like, gymnasts in general like they will have that tendency to want to do the most flips, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
look, they're gymnasts. They want to be like doing that crazy gymnast stuff. So I think they tried to highlight that, but it ended up looking a little sloppy. I honestly I don't have the blow by blow of what went wrong, but that was just like my high level take here. But fun finish, I'd have to say, to save it with Chelsea, with everyone kind of like taking the bump at the end there, including Chelsea Green. I love how
Yep.
she comes out in the wheelchair, but then gets up out of the wheelchair. Like, as if though
Yeah.
the wheelchair is effective, like she needs the wheelchair. It's like, no, she doesn't need the wheelchair. She has she has a walking boot on. She doesn't have
Yes.
like a torn ACL or something.
Which we might be talking about later in Cheap Heat. Stay tuned.
Yes, that's a teaser.
Yeah, Tiffany does a rolling senton to set up her top turnbuckle moonsault, but Julia pulls Kiana James out of the ring, and that's when Chelsea hobbles over to hit Tiffany with something. And Julia gets between them because she doesn't want Tiffany to win this by disqualification. She doesn't want Tiffany to win at all. So Tiffany re-enters the ring, and she stands up near the ropes where Julia grabs her from behind while Kiana has the referee distracted. Kiana charges for a big boot, but Tiffany ducks. Julia gets knocked off the apron into Chelsea Green and Alba Fire.
Yes.
So there you go. Everybody got involved there. And that led up to the finishing sequence there. So yes, a lot of moving parts in this one. I don't know how necessary it was, but may we be going to a women's U.S. championship match at WrestleMania? Tiffany Stratton versus Julia.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to do that, right? It looks like
Yep.
maybe, and I think that might be a good route for Tiffany because even though like they pushed her to the moon, right? And she's
Yep.
so young, and they pushed her to the moon. And when they did, it was like pretty. I don't think her reign was terrible by any means. I thought it was like okay, but just okay. Some of the times, like some of the matches she kind of struggled in. So maybe take her like a step down, keep her as like a potentially really big star within the company, but like give her like a U.S. title, let her start to understand how to wrestle a little bit more.
Yeah, she goes from walking into WrestleMania as the WWE Women's Champion and then beating Charlotte Flair to now not having a belt and maybe getting a U.S. title match.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's kind of it for this match up here.
I'm with you. I thought Meech and Jade was maybe a little bit better match.
Which is surprising. Like I wouldn't have thought that, but I have to give it to Mishin and Jade. And really probably I think Jade because there's been like hyper focus on her with like criticism. So
also just chemistry. I mean, they've wrestled before. Before Mishin's injury, they were doing some house show circuits together. So they know each other.
Like Mishin is smaller, but she's more athletic, so there is that believability. Where Jade is like a big power. She's like a bodybuilder, but she's not a great athlete per se. In there, she's like can stumble around a little bit, even though she's huge. But Mishin's like a little bit more athletic, so I think it's a good dynamic they have between the two of them. Different styles.
Mishin's more fluid.
Yeah, totally. And where'd you want to go to next here? Tom, your mic went again. Sorry.
We've got a couple.
It's still out.
Tag team matches?
Let's see. Try it now.
Do you want to go tag team?
There you go. Yeah, let's do it.
We've got we've got Solo Sikoa and Talatanga versus Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan. So leader of the faction and big guy versus leader of the faction and big guy. And this is also the Lantern is on the line. The Lantern that for some reason the Wyatt Six can't manage to recapture.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even realize that was a thing.
That's the thing. Yeah,
I remember they took the lantern, but I never realized they just didn't get it back. Interesting. Okay.
They keep almost getting it back, but then something weird happens and they don't get it back.
Okay. It's like instead of the title. Remember they used to have the Loa or whatever that was that Roman Reigns had? They did that instead of a title, like who would win the Loa?
Oh yeah, the Ulafala.
Ulafala? Yeah.
And then there was CM Punk's wrist bracelet,
Yes.
his friendship bracelet or whatever, because I don't know, he went to a Taylor Swift concert or something. I don't know, but that thing that Drew McIntyre took from him. Yeah, so this one winds up with Uncle Howdy hits the Sister Abigail on Solo Sikoa for the pinfall here. And then that's because Nikki Cross gets the lantern when there's mayhem on the floor with all the factions fighting each other. So she gets the lantern and walks near the entrance. And that's what distracts Solo Sikoa enough for Uncle Howdy to get the win. And then Nikki Cross gives the lantern to Uncle Howdy. But then Tamatanga ambushes Uncle Howdy with a cutthroat, that running chop to the throat and chest area, and takes back the lantern. So it's hot potato with the lantern there, except everybody wants it rather than just trying to get rid of it.
Yes. What'd you think of this matchup here?
It was good to see the big guys go at it again, but we've seen the big guys go at it before. Are they going to do a one-on-one match at some point? Eric Rowan, Talatanga. It was good to see the two leaders get in there and mix it up. But again, are we going to see one-on-one Uncle Howdy, Solo Sikoa?
Does this kind of
Wyatt Six ever going to get a fifth man? So that they could do 5-on-5? I mean, I don't know.
Does this feel like SmackDown before WrestleMania, or even the pre-show of one of the WrestleManias match, like that they're setting up here between these two factions?
Yeah, this feels like they've been running in place for a while, almost like they've been just slow playing it to get to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. So you have something.
Like this could have been done by now, but it seems like they're slow. Maybe they started it too early if they wanted it to be a WrestleMania thing.
It's one of the rare times the WWE recently has showed too much planning,
right?
Because like, I think with the main events, it's almost like they showed no planning whatsoever. Yep. They're just throwing the things together now. But then this one, they started too early. So they're kind of like stuck around. Like, we have to make people know that the lantern still exists.
Right. So for all of the angles that they've supposedly been rewriting because of soft ticket sales for WrestleMania, this one has not undergone any changes at all.
No, it's like there was somebody in creative timed it all correctly, and they're way ahead, and they're like, we could just have to linger this out for another segment or two, and then we'll be good.
They get all the creative together and like, okay, we got to rewrite WrestleMania, and this guy goes, please, no. Whatever you do, leave Wyatt Six versus the MFTs, please, for the lantern.
They nailed it. Like they're
nailed
like
all looking at him going, okay, we won't touch that one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The pre-show is going to be like,
you're safe.
Thrown out. Yes. That's great.
The second match on Saturday.
At best. That's like you're giving it too much credit. It might be the pre-show. We got a couple, or I should say.
So another tag team match that was here was Nia Jax and Lash Legend for the Women's Tag Team Championships against the challengers, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. This match does not finish, because before this match, the Bella Twins walked out to confront Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss after the challengers' entrance, and they were in the ring. And so they're going to be ringside because they want the winner of this match for a title shot. And so what you know it, there winds up being a brawl on the floor. The Bellas get a little too close to the action. It's Nikki and Brie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nikki and Brie Bella. Well, they get a little too close to the action and get leveled. Back in the ring, one of the Bellas causes the match to be thrown out by attacking Nia Jax. And I wrote in my notes here This was a pretty good match until two old people who were active 10 years ago and who can't really wrestle ruined it.
I love
John, where's the lie?
it. None. No lie was told. No lie was told.
No lie detected.
None.
The champs recover and destroy everyone. So
Yes.
it looks like Nia Jax and Lash Legend have something else to do at WrestleMania. We may be getting Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss carrying around the Bella Twins for 7 or 8 minutes at WrestleMania.
Oh wow. Yeah. They'll have the Bella twins. Oh no.
Yes.
Oh yes. Right.
Yeah. Well. I mean, yes. That's what it looks like. So.
Maybe they really want Daniel Bryan back, so they're doing all these things to Nikki Bella or to the Bellas. Like, look, we're being so nice to Brie. Come back, please, please, please.
If it works, it works. Whatever. WrestleMania is the kind of show where they could do a little nostalgia like that. So maybe maybe they get a 7 or 8 minute match and everybody goes, "Oh, look, I remember them."
That WrestleMania, especially because it's 2 days, it does need that goofball nostalgia act.
Mm-hmm.
And I say goofball nostalgia act because a lot of the acts right now are nostalgia, but they would be particularly goofy, I'd say.
Yeah, there's a difference between wrestlers who have a nostalgia factor just because they've been consistently wrestling for so long versus people that have been on hiatus for years and years who are getting brought back.
Yes, and they've pretty much been doing like reality TV stuff since pro wrestling. And
right. And it looks like that people know the Bella twins, so it's not like everybody in the crowd is going, "Who are these people?"
The Bella twins are kind of like pretty bad knockoffs of the Kardashians.
Okay.
That's what they kind of did during WWE and then post WWE is like they just did like E Network, which is like lady reality TV stuff. So they did like I think it's called The Bellas was their reality TV show on there where they just follow them around. They're like, "Oh my God," It's my impression of those shows. "Oh my God, really? Oh my God." So
E might be calling you for your reality TV show now because that was a perfect audition if that's what you were going for.
that's what the show is. Them just saying, "Oh my God, oh my God," and it being very guilty pleasure TV for many women in the U.S. So, okay,
And then we had one more tag team match here: Damian Priest and R-Truth versus Los Garza, Angel, and Berto. And this was pretty cool for a while, but it winds up again with the babyface is doing this corny tandem finisher thing again that it kind of makes not only the match but the whole tag team division look like a joke.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes here, Los Garza looked pretty good, and I think they need a push.
Right.
I think looking at the tag division and the way it's laid out, they look good in there. They have like they kind of look the same, but they're different. They have the color scheme thing going, and they've got some double team stuff they were doing that I thought was really cool, and they seem polished.
Yeah.
And I was saying just in my notes here, Los Garza needs a push. And third man in the booth likes Los Garza.
He does. All right.
It was like the one time he looked at the TV when they were like doing the flippy stuff. I was like, "Oh, he's into it." That's the toddlers don't lie. What they think is good is just what they think is good. There's no outside world impression, right?
Sure.
So they have the purest vantage point. Really,
there's no pretense there, right?
He should be doing these shows because there's no pretense. It's just like this is what I think is good based on nothing.
He should be booking.
He should be the booker. Los Garza in the main event. But yeah, so I thought this was a pretty good match, and I do want to call it another thing. I like R-Truth when he's not doing the John Cena stuff necessarily. Like there was some stuff. He was being the worker there for a while in the beginning of the match because he gives
Yes.
the hot tag to Damian Priest, which I
Yep.
thought would have gone the other way around. Damian has to do all the work, give the hot tag to R-Truth, the comedy act, but no, they had him in there working, taking the bumps and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can still go, and he's protected himself over the years because he's been able to hang around the roster even though he's not a very frequent wrestler.
Yeah. It's
So
almost
maybe he's got not as much mileage on his body as you would think for someone who's in his 50s.
Yeah.
And he's kept himself in good shape, it looks like.
Oh, fantastic shape considering his age. Although I do have to admit, like, seeing him move around, you can start to see he's an old man. Like he's
lost a step.
He's lost a step, like versus what he was. You see some of the highlights of him. Was it in TNA or what was his
he
early
was, I
stuff?
think, an NWA champion.
NWA, my bad. Yeah, when he was Ron Killings.
Yep. Just Ron the Truth Killings.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to change his name when he comes to WWE because they do that with everybody. So he's just R-Truth.
Mm-hmm.
But he even had the same "What's Up" rap song.
But it's funny because he's complete comedy gimmick, old man, and then he was like more like Stone Cold Killer rap song guy. Like, what's up? Like, oh man, this guy's crazy.
Fun fact about his TNA career. He was in a tag team for a while with football player Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah, I do remember Pac-Man was
and Adam Pac-Man Jones was supposed to come in and wrestle, and then there was some dispute over his contract where he better not engage in any physicality or he's going to void his NFL contract. He's going to void any chance of getting back into the NFL. So then they had to do this thing where Ron Killings had to wrestle almost the entire match until at some point Pac-Man Jones would pick up a football and peg a guy in the crotch.
That's some good creative, right? To get around that. They're like, what do we do? What do we do? Hit him in the nuts with the ball.
Right. It's like he doesn't want to wrestle. We can't have him actually lock up with anybody. So we want to keep the tag team together for a couple more weeks or whatever and sell tickets. But yes, so Ron Killings had to do like all the work in an ill-fated tag team with a bad boy pro football player who had to not do anything because of his contract.
It's funny. He's in the NWA. I can't imagine the amount of money he probably risked versus what he could get from NWA versus the NFL. He's probably getting like $5,000 at the most. I'm saying this at the most, a couple $1,000 to wrestle in the NWA, and then the NFL. He's probably got $1 million contract on the line. You know, so no, but he was a good character in the NFL. I mean, his name's Pac-Man, so. He's meant to be a pro wrestler, I feel like.
He could transition very easily, right? He could be the two-sport star.
Speaking of transitioning here.
Do we want to talk more Jelly Roll? He was a guest on Miz TV.
I almost led with Miz TV. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, because it not only included Miz and Jelly Roll, but it included someone else who we really like, right?
Yes. We
Kit
have
Wilson.
Yes, we have Miz TV. Jelly Roll comes out to kind of the crowd goes mild, but then he gets on the mic and says a couple lines, and I was like, okay, he can talk a little bit, but I was like, oh, he's a singer, like he should be able to say like 5 or 6 lines with some sort of emphasis.
Yes, he's a front man for a band. Yeah.
So he was talking a little bit to Miz, and Kit Wilson, they're doing the Miz TV shtick. I love how it starts and the mic doesn't work. And then they have to get the mic out. And he's like, well, it's been a while, right? He did a good job saving the segment. And then Kit Wilson comes out and everyone's excited. And Jelly Roll's like, oh, I kind of like you, man. Because Jelly Roll likes everyone. I don't know. He's like.
And he likes Kit Wilson. And then he does the little wiggle there.
Yes, he likes Kit Wilson. And Kit Wilson says that he lost all that weight and it's made him fat phobic, which is toxic.
Yes.
Absolutely, positively love Kit Wilson and the gimmick. especially because it's now branching out to other things besides toxic masculinity,
Mhm.
toxic fat phobia for losing weight, which is a thing I have seen people
Yeah,
say,
right.
which is like the craziest thing ever. So him calling out Jelly Roll for being toxic for losing weight and
Yes.
blaming him and calling him fat phobic. It's like, yes, Kit Wilson. We're getting a more dynamic comedy act here that I just can't get enough of.
We need to rename fat phobic to heart attack phobic.
Skibbity Josh says, "Hey guys, what up?" Skibbity Josh, not from TikTok, but YouTube. Thanks
Oh,
so much for
we
joining.
have a skibbity from YouTube.
Yes.
Excellent. We usually get like 6 or 7 people
Oh
who join
no.
us in the live stream.
He's gonna leave if we start saying 6-7. We can't do
His
it.
name is Skibbity. I thought he liked that stuff.
It's over. 6-7's done.
Oh, really?
It's done. We can't. The second it trickled to us, it was over. It was over.
Oh, well, I have very little Riz, so.
That's true.
But you know who has Riz? Kit Wilson.
Yeah.
Like Jelly Roll, a big music star, is in the ring trying to kiss up to a comedy jobber. And the comedy jobber is having none of it.
Skibbity Josh. A couple more things here. It looks like it's leading to Kit Wilson and Miz versus Jelly Roll and Royce Keys.
Wow, we haven't seen Royce Keys since the Royal Rumble.
Yes. LOL. So they're just going to throw Royce Keys in there. I did see a report or something regarding that. I guess they just want to try to figure out how to get him into a match because they haven't done anything with him. They put Danhausen all over the program, though. You would have thought he's like, you would think he's the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, the way they're pushing Danhausen.
Like he's going to be added to the title match to make it a triple threat between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes.
Yes. And so maybe stepping back to Kit Wilson, I think it'd be cool if he gets a WrestleMania opportunity here.
Yes.
Even if it is with Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll, in my opinion, is pretty trash in the ring. And he's not a great celebrity. But he is really a big celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Like there's other celebrities that have wrestled that are better wrestlers and better athletes, but they're not as big of a celebrity, where Jelly Roll's he's up there, right?
I don't want to put too much pressure on Kit Wilson, but Sami Zayn had a ridiculous match with a celebrity at WrestleMania. And within a few months, he was on his way to elevating the A+ storyline in the entire company with his talent, and he's never looked back.
Yeah. It is a little bit like you have to pay your dues to go lose to some weird celebrity, but it's something they always do with WrestleMania. And I almost kind of get it with the 2-day WrestleMania. It's not my cup of tea, but normal people will be watching that don't watch wrestling, so they'll probably want to see Jelly Roll do something. It's just that Jelly Roll is he's just not he just shouldn't be wrestling.
He's not a real wrestler. He good for him for losing weight and getting healthier and showing that he has some athleticism, but he's not a wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Kit Wilson has the personality that I would like to start to see him get pushed in a direction where you see him not more serious, but like he should be like winning some matches and stuff. Like he should be.
Maybe he and The Miz make a tag team run.
That's totally foreseeable. I think it's totally possible, and Miz can work too, which should be helpful.
Yep.
They
put the belts on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, didn't they?
They sure did, Dom. They sure did.
So Miz and Kit Wilson is not out of the question.
Yes, that is a good point. It can't. The thing is, Miz can still he can still work. Yes. And Kit Wilson is surprisingly good in the ring as well, as he was with. It's just that the gimmick's so ridiculous you wouldn't see it, and then like eventually he gets in there, like, oh, he's actually pretty good. So, anything else from this SmackDown?
I think we hit everything. We got to the Jelly Roll and the Kit Wilson thing. Yeah, I think we got to everything because a lot of the backstage stuff wound up getting in the ring later, like the backstage stuff with Los Garza, the backstage stuff with Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton, the backstage stuff with uh, Jelly Roll. So everything. Not a bad job of writing a TV show, and maybe that's a good segue into our next segment, which is the thumb drive, where you and I are going to try and condense this wrestling program we watched into a simple thumbs up or a thumbs down grading it. There are no ties. There are also no letter grades, no number grades, no star ratings. We're going to condense all this data on a little portable thumb. It's going to be pass, fail.
That's right, Dom. We're not Dave Meltzer. We don't give 7 stars at the Tokyo Dome. We don't give 2 stars at the Monroe Business Arena. No, no, no. We don't give stars. We give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Ready?
I am ready, sir.
3, 2, 1. Oh, 2 thumbs down. Dom, why'd you give this show a thumbs down?
I can't really identify a great match that wasn't wonky and screwy and just on the card to set up something else next month.
Yeah. This
Like there was nothing on this show that made you think, "Oh, I'm glad I watched this show."
this show, you could have seriously just known that Randy Orton turned heel, and that's it.
Yep.
And you would have been totally fine. You didn't miss any exceptional wrestling. The best talking segment wasn't even the main event. It was Kit Wilson.
Yes.
So Jelly Roll was there. If you're into Jelly Roll, this might have been a good show for you. I am not.
He was in several segments.
This was a Jelly Roll, very, very Jelly Roll centric Smackdown.
He had like a story arc.
Yes. They didn't have enough and he's like, I'll do whatever, I'm there. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
you want to do like 3 segments? Like, because you're going to be in all of them, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And I do have to say, yeah, the only thing I think that is going to be good that comes out of this show that will be memorable is that Kit Wilson called Jelly Roll toxic. And at some point, it happens to every celebrity when you're at that level of Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll is going to do something. And I'm going to say, Kit Wilson was right. He is toxic. He's going to have old tweets, text messages, you name it, right? He's way too high up right now. He's too famous that something is going to happen and there'll be some sort of downfall. It happens to all famous people, right? So when that thing happens, whatever it is, whatever thing he has done in the past comes up and it's like, oh man, he was doing this, you know? And look at these emails or look at these pictures or whatever it is. And whenever that happens, we can point to Kit Wilson and be like, he was right.
Kit was right will be trending on social media.
Yeah. And it's going to be great. I can't wait for it to happen. All right. So, Dom, speaking of gossip and things of that nature that actually happen to celebrities, trending topics here we talked about on Cheap Heat. Do you want to go ahead, get your screen up? It's time for Cheap Heat, where we talk about WWE, AEW, other aspects of pro wrestling. This is really where this is our kind of our bread and butter, where we kind of take these trending topics, make them into shorter YouTube clips, which has helped us get subscribers, monetization on YouTube, etc., etc. Thank you all to all the people that watch and tune in. It's been really helpful. Thank you so much. But I'm kind of being quick because we don't have a whole ton of time. So I'm going to kick it to Dom. What's our first topic here for Cheap Heat?
Little wrestling business here. ESPN, which for a while was trying to cover WWE events not as if it was a pure sport like football, baseball, basketball, the other ones, but at least as big time entertainment. And so they were really critiquing the big shows. But now that ESPN and WWE are big money partners, article here from Post Wrestling, ESPN has dropped the WWE letter grades from reviews after WWE pushback, according to multiple sources. So apparently, after the 5-year, $1.6 billion media deal, they started questioning why the first PLE, as part of the deal, WrestlePalooza, on September 20th of last year, received a C grade from Andreas Hale, the combat sports reporter who graded the platform. Might we suggest, if the letter grades aren't going over very well, for a small finder's fee, you can do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. No ties, but also no letter grades, no number grades, no star ratings.
Perfect. I love it.
Right.
Yeah. Thumb drive's superior anyway.
Until they get a thumbs down.
Until they thumbs down.
At which point it's like, can you nix on the thumbs down? So this is this was going to happen eventually, right? Like ESPN's trying to be still sports media and covering events, and it's like, well, but you're paying for this and they're paying for this, and why don't you not give them a C?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I do have some respect for, say, the wrestling dirt sheets that at least try to be critical of this stuff and not feel that they have to pump up the programs when maybe the quality of a show was not all that good. So, hey,
I think
it happened to ESPN thanks to their WWE partnership there. So
it's really weird. I think it's a little silly that they can't take any sort of criticism to a point where they can't even have a partner who would obviously, let's say, bell curve the scores, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if something is bad, give it like a D, give it like a C. If it's really bad, like a C minus, give us a C minus if it stinks. And then all the other stuff, like, just pump it up. You know, you don't have to, and that's a thumb drive. We don't bury something unless it's pretty lousy. So just I feel like you could do a grading scale that's not too strict, but then also, this is how people watch pro wrestling now. The cat's out of the bag. It's not sport. It's entertainment. It's a scripted thing. So this is how people will watch pro wrestling now. And I don't think that they want to accept that. And they don't get that. That's the one thing they just don't get. Or they at least get it, but they don't like it.
Basically, someone from WWE went stomping into ESPN headquarters and said, "You're toxic."
Which is true. This is toxicity at its finest.
And that was the end of the letter grades there. Up next, talking about a couple of people who may or may not, one who is definitely departed, one who may be departing. From Wrestling Inc., Pat McAfee cast doubt on his WWE return. That business has kind of passed me by. I'm rather surprised by this. I thought when Pat McAfee came back from his vacation that he would be back on either Raw or SmackDown, or at least on the premium live events. Maybe Joe Tessitore heading back to doing sports for the non-football season, because that was the initial trade, was McAfee Tessitore, since Joe Tess was willing to do wrestling, and he's been okay at it, while McAfee concentrates on football and can't fit the wrestling travel and live events into his schedule. On Sunday, McAfee was responding to questions on his Instagram story, and when asked about his future with the WWE, he explained that he will not be returning anytime soon. I don't think you ever say never, especially with the WWE. But right now, it doesn't feel like something that's supposed to happen. It feels like the business has kind of passed me by a little bit. I grew up loving it, dreamed of working it, feel honored that I had the opportunity to work alongside the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Michael Cole. But I feel like the business is in a good spot without me. I'll continue to watch. He doesn't need to get on pro wrestling. Like he's already got he's got a day job.
He almost is
pardon?
a guy. He almost is a guy that has too many things going on for me. That
Right.
like he bleeds into me watching sports. He bleeds into me watching wrestling, and it's just too much. He's like Ryan Seacrest almost at one point in his career. He was just on everything, and it's like
Yeah.
he doesn't need to be in pro wrestling. And I think I think he was a good color commentator, but the commentators seem to have gotten better with the 2-man booth that they have. And like Wade Barrett, I'd prefer him over anyone, right? So,
Right.
and even Corey Graves, I've come to start to like him in the 2-man booth. So I don't think either party really needs him, and I think he was a good fill-in when he had to be. Like he wrestled Adam Cole, and he can really wrestle because he's a pro athlete. So,
Yeah.
duh, of course he's a good pro wrestler. He's a professional athlete, and also I think he was good when he had to be as a color commentator. But it's probably in both parties' interest because when he was starting the color commentator stuff, he wasn't as big as he is now, and now he's gigantic. He's on college football. He's on ESPN. He doesn't really need to be in wrestling anymore.
He's got the radio show, the podcast. Yeah, he's everywhere, like you said. In describing the overexposure, I'm glad you're trying to reach some of our younger viewers by comparing him to Ryan Seacrest.
Right.
I was going to go Ed McMahon,
And
but I'm
further alienate them, right? They're like, what? 6'7"? No.
So
speaking of our younger users, we do have this comment from Skibbity Josh. WWE is repeating the same formula for the last 3 years. WrestleMania builds. They've had Cody get beaten and bloodied. First it was The Rock, then Cena, now Orton. Correct, Skibbity Josh. I think that's a good assessment. They've kind of been doing the same thing over and over and over. And
3 longtime baby faces who get huge pops when they show up for a show of any kind.
Yes. So
and yet they managed to be 2 of them managed to be heels. It looks like we'll see if Randy Orton can pull off a full-fledged heel turn at least long enough to get through WrestleMania. So yeah. Good. I like the analysis there, Josh. Very good. Going back into history a little bit, not just, doing everything for, what did we see now and maybe last week. Yeah, that's a good pattern to spot.
Sorry, what do we
got
next?
One more from people departing. Road Dogg announced he's got another appearance lined up after his WWE exit. I did not realize he left working backstage. But Road Dogg Brian James stepped down from his role as co-head writer of WWE Smackdown. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, Road Dogg personally chose to vacate his position. Johnson reported that James openly expressed his unhappiness. It was also noted that the former 6-time WWE Tag Champion tendered his resignation in person, so he didn't fax it in or text it or whatever email. So he was there in person. He is now set to appear at the Squared Circle Expo 6 on March 27th and 28th in Indianapolis. He is also looks like wrestling Great Lakes Championship Wrestling's Blizzard Brawl 21 in Milwaukee at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel will be in December. He's supposed to be appearing with Badass Billy Gunn as the New Age Outlaws. So good for him trying to revive the in-ring wrestling persona there, but also a little sad that it didn't work out for him behind the scenes. Most guys, they like to wrestle for a while and they like to transition to where they can contribute still to the industry, still to these wrestling companies that they like so much behind the scenes. He's now apparently not happy with the direction of creative, and so he's going from creative to back in the ring at his age.
That's wild.
Did you realize that he had left his backstage position? I knew there were some questions creatively with all the buzz around WrestleMania and all the rewrites they had to do, but perhaps one of the first casualties. Road Dogg.
Yeah,
And
I think
it seems like self-inflicted or at least mutual.
I think the rumors were that he was the head of creative for SmackDown. Do you remember when they went to 3 hours last year and SmackDown was brutal?
Yes.
Yes, when we were watching it, we're like, I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah.
So apparently, what had happened was they shift, and this is complete rumor. So I have no idea, but they shifted him out of that role of head of creative SmackDown, and they shifted someone else into it. And when they shifted that other person into it, they also switched to 2 hours. So when they switched to 2 hours, of course, the show vastly improved because it should only be 2 hours. So he kind of got screwed because he had to book a 3-hour SmackDown, which is oftentimes mission impossible, right?
Right. Even 3-hour Raws are a little tough.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, the 3-hour TV show is just it falls off a cliff when
3-hour Monday Nitros started it, and those were kind of rough.
Yeah. So I do think that at the end of the day, he left as a result of that. According to rumors, I do not know if any of this is true, but I know he left. And he probably has made enough money in his career and done enough that he probably doesn't want to sit backstage on a SmackDown. And I don't know, maybe he just has the itch to just get in the ring and just be a guy again rather than be the head of creative. There's a lot of pressure on you.
Well, somebody with his kind of name recognition, he could do a lot of good things on the independent circuit and the convention circuit. You know,
Yeah.
he probably won't be hurting for. I mean, it won't be full time. You know, like every week he's got a few things to do, maybe, but he'll have events. He's got 2 booked already.
It feels a little bit like that'd be a funner lifestyle than booking, being the head of creative. I think that you have to have a certain type of personality that like really wants to be in that and ready to take the heat as well.
You've got to be Vince Russo.
Just susceptible to public opinion. Just like
right,
not listening to any of it and just plugging ahead and just doing your own thing.
More from Wrestling Inc. Charlie, may remember her in the WWE as Dakota Kai. Had a return match. She'd been out for almost a year. She wrestled at EVE Wrestle Queendom or Eve Wrestle Queendom. I think Will Ospreay is involved in Eve Wrestle Kingdom. He was very complimentary of her performance coming back there after so much time out of the ring due to some injuries and then being released by WWE. She had a match against Chris Statlander. Said, I had so much fun and being away from wrestling as long as I was. Obviously, I was very nervous for me going into it and stuff, but Chris made it easy. Obviously, like the crowd played its part. And you know what I mean? Everything like felt really good. She said on her Twitch stream, she's previously had concussion issues, reassured fans that she was in a good state after the match. I feel great. It's always the travel, though. Across the board, it's like you can feel good after a match. And then when the adrenaline wears off and you have to sit on a plane, shakes her head. My neck is a little stiff, but we're good. Brian Danielson, he's going through this too, where the travel is weighing on his chronic injuries.
This isn't the only person we've heard. We also saw Jade Cargill in an interview talking about like the travel so strict with WWE that it's really tough for her as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the nature of the beast. There is you're always on the road and flying a lot just isn't really good for you, you know. No. So especially if you're trying to recover, right? You're trying to get into recovery, like your neck's sore, you need to get hydrated, all that stuff. This is not good. You have to stick. And you know, if she's not in the WWE anymore, I'm sure she's like flying coach, dealing with travel, dealing with delays, all that stuff.
She needs her own Madden Cruiser.
Really? I think that's why those guys have the buses. I think Big Show had a bus back in the day. I mean, he's so huge. He probably hates flying, you know?
Yeah, he probably didn't want it. Was probably such a hassle for him. I mean, he probably doesn't go overseas very often. Oh, Skippity Josh, back with us. What do we got?
I haven't watched Unreal, but the WWE Unreal documentary did Road Dogg zero favors. Seeing him pitch title runs with no follow-up plan made him look totally out of touch.
Yeah, like bad editing. They have him pitching the something, and then they like just cut away. It's like, yeah, this is stupid.
That show is not a good idea.
Right.
That show just, I don't know who it's for. Outside of people that want to just like watch the downfall, and like they'll give you the behind the scenes of watching the downfall, but it's a work too. I don't know. I don't know who
WWE Unreal is toxic.
it really is. It needs to show that I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking.
Speaking of non-toxic, from her ex account, Jordan Grace was injured legit during a match. She has an ankle boot on, so obviously Chelsea Green found out about it and then was harassing Jordan Grace the rest of the evening, referring to the two of them as ankle sisters since they're each in a boot. She followed me around the entire night to document us being ankle sisters. Also, do not look at my feet. And Chelsea Green replies, ankle sis for life.
Chelsea Green, always killing it in every aspect.
Right? She's not even getting screen time here, and she's killing it.
Oh, you got
she
this.
seems like the fun coworker who makes people feel comfortable being there.
Skibbity Josh says, agree with Dom. You'll take it, right?
About Unreal being toxic in the Kit Wilson dance.
Yes.
You can't see it, but I'm shaking my hips like Jelly Roll under the camera here. Also, I'm wearing an ankle boot. I'm an ankle bro.
You're an ankle bro.
No, I'm not wearing an ankle boot. More from X. It's Cody Rhodes. You're telling me the guy with this hair couldn't turn heel? Cody Rhodes as Guile in the Street Fighter movie with the game's director, Nakayama-san, in the background here. And Cody Rhodes is saying that he was squashed by the director. No mercy. Look at that hairstyle. That's impressive. That looks very video game to me. You cannot have that hairstyle and be a pro wrestler.
If that's not AI, that's pretty remarkable. I don't know.
He went into hair and makeup for a while.
Yeah. Unless they like made the wig and then they glue it on, something like that. But if that is the case, it does make him look way different than the wrestlers, so you won't get too mixed up. Like, I think that's the key. Like, he can't look like Cody Rhodes. He has to look like Guile, right?
Yeah. I mean, that hair is definitely a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
But very good. Hey, it's a movie. He's doing well. Very good for him. Also, if he was able to have the belt while doing some of his acting stuff, then maybe shouldn't be a deal breaker for other people as far as having belts while they're doing other stuff. We'll see how that plays out in the future. But Cody Rhodes doing good in the ring, doing good in his other career as an actor, and hey, if the hair fits, as they say, someone else who's doing Street Fighter stuff, AEW's Kenny Omega. This comes to us from WrestleZone. He appeared at the Capcom Cup 12 in his Street Fighter cosplay. And let's see here. Let's see if I can find something here that can show us what he looked like here. Yeah, here we go. So I will turn off sound here. This is Kenny Omega making his entrance, and you can see he looks like someone from a video game from Street Fighter. So a lot of Street Fighter fans in the big time wrestling promotions here. Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega. What say you about these Street Fighter outfits? Do you have a favorite? Is Kenny Omega's outfit better, or is Cody Rhodes' outfit better, or are they a tie? We will allow ties for this.
Gun to my head, if I had to pick, probably Cody Rhodes because his hair looks crazy. But I also am not a big Street Fighter guy, and I can only think that Street Fighter is probably paying him pretty well because a lot of wrestlers are like, a lot of them are willing to do it. And a lot of them are pretty big wrestlers that make good money. So I'd imagine that the pay is pretty good. Or they just like
Very
Street
good.
Fighter, and it's like, it's something I missed. I missed the boat on Street Fighter. I just never
Me
got
too.
into it.
I don't quite know what's going on there either.
I don't quite know what's got me either.
I don't know any of these video games. Street Fighter also tweeted about it. They're on X, and you could see they had him up on the big screen. He almost looks Hulk Hogan-ish with the red and the yellow and the headbands there.
Oh yeah, brother. That's what
Yeah.
I thought. Hogan, baby. It's a Hulk Hogan cosplay.
Hulk Hogan is a video game character.
He looks very tan, which is like the Hulk Hogan thing, where
He does, doesn't he? Oh my goodness.
his skin is leather. So
Excellent stuff here. There you have it. The eye makeup painted there, the hair colors, and just very video gamey. Tell us in the comments, tell us in the chat if you're live with us. Do you know anything about Street Fighter? I, as you would probably guess, since I was going to make an Ed McMahon reference, do not.
yes.
John, you might. You went Ryan Seacrest. You might know a little about this.
I played Street Fighter, and I did not have. I think it was on Super Nintendo, and I didn't have Super Nintendo, so I'd like play at somebody's house, but I never played it at home. And then I never really stuck after that. I wasn't like, oh,
Okay.
is there a new Street Fighter? Cool. I just never was into it.
So there's Kenny Omega as the Hulk Hogan character, which is what I'm calling it. And there's Cody Rhodes as the electric toothbrush character, as I'm calling it.
Dom, we have another one. Skibbity Josh's laughy face, laughy face, laughy face. Skibbity
He's
Josh.
laughing at us. We try to keep it light here. You know, we have a good time with this stuff. We poke fun of ourselves as well. So yes.
If you could, Skibbity Josh, could you subscribe? Because we're on every Saturday night.
There you go.
Sometimes Sunday, Monday, but for the most part, we try to do Saturday nights. So if you could subscribe, that would be really helpful. And it'll let you know if we're having a show. So we always like the commentary. We have a couple other folks that jump on. So appreciate you today, Skibbity Josh, because he has played the game, but honestly don't remember the characters now. I'm kind of in the same boat. I played the game, but I'm not like, I know who the characters are.
Well, now you at least know two of them. There's Hulk Hogan wannabe and electric toothbrush.
Dom, the third man in the booth, is beckoning. So
he is beckoning. Well, that's all I got. It's pathologically frugal. It's unseasonably warm. John, what is it?
It's cheap heat. And I'm going to do a bit of a Irish goodbye and celebration here for,
the upcoming St. Patrick's Day. I've got my Irish soda bread. I'm slathering it with butter and blackberry preserves.
This is more of a German Irish goodbye because I am going to talk a little bit, but plan my out here. So I'm planning my out rather than just turning the thing off. You know what? Skibbity Josh, thanks so much for joining. Much appreciated. Thanks for the subscribing as well. Come on in whenever you want. It's fun to have additional people on. Thanks so much, Dom. Really appreciate your help today. Everyone, have a great rest of your evening.